Hi guys, so I wanted to talk to you very quickly about some of the events that are going on right now. On the screen you'll see there's the American flag in North Carolina, Cape Fear, which is shredded. Obviously the fear reference is being used quite a bit in terms of where these nuclear plants are located that are in danger in this hurricane. Also the Bob Woodward book, Fear, it will kind of seems to be connecting to that part of the Bible where men's hearts are failing them because of fear. We're seeing the sea and the waves roaring. It's all happening. So it's biblical connection as well as their convoluted iPad Go 2 video connection. So I'm just going to play a little bit of this video so you can see what's happening. So you can see the flag is not completely ripped up as in iPad Goat, but it's the same symbolic suggestion. The flag is being destroyed by some sort of wind event. We know it's a wind event because the piece that's ripped off here gets whipped off into the distance and comes over and down here somewhere. So looks like there's multiple connections to this video that have been made over the last couple of days, which just goes to show that these people planned this a long time ago and put it into an animated video cryptically, because people aren't going to really take a cartoon seriously, are they? Except we did, and it looks like they're now coming to pass. So in reference to Cape Fear and the nuclear plants that are in danger, there's more than 6 nuclear plants there, but they are quoting that 6 could potentially be in danger in the path of Hurricane Florence. One in particular is called, let me just skip to the next report. So the one that's in the most danger is called Duke Energy's Corpse Dual Reactor, 1,870 megawatt Brunswick plant. It sits just 4 miles inland from Cape Fear, a pointy headland jutting out into the Atlantic Ocean just south of the city of Wilmington, North Carolina. Brunswick has survived decades of run-ins with hurricanes, but Florence could be its biggest test yet. The plant, purchased near the banks of the Cape Fear River, which drains 9,000 square miles of the state's most densely populated regions. So the storm surging, the flooding, this nuclear plant sitting by a river, and the example of a water type event kind of having an effect on a nuclear plant has been already tested in 2011 with the Japanese earthquake. A 1.2 earthquake tsunami punch knocked out the safety systems at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, triggering an explosion of hydrogen gas and meltdowns in 3 of its 6 reactors. The world's worst nuclear disaster since Chernobyl. And if you look at the Illuminati card, one of them is related to depopulation, and that depopulation is in connection with a nuclear meltdown or a nuclear attack of some kind. So looking out very closely for this particular nuclear power plant, Duke Energy's Corpse, which is located in Cape Fear, for any signs of nuclear meltdown going on there. Obviously, if there is signs that something is happening there, the likelihood that they will report it publicly immediately is very, very low. So if any of you guys are able to get information out of that area, perhaps you know someone who's stayed in that area, though they shouldn't have, but if they stayed in that area and you're able to communicate with them, we might be able to get an earlier warning than what we would get from the mainstream media, because they are quite slow to give us the information. Usually you'll find quicker information on social media sites like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, because it's an instant access for people, and a lot of times mainstream media pick up their reports from social media as well. They can't be everywhere, although they are part of this whole plan to show us exactly what they want to show us and not what we should really be seeing in most cases. This is interesting. A huge tsunami or marine superweapon. Scientists baffled when a killer wave heading towards Hong Kong disappeared. Now, there's a little video here that I'm going to play.
April 18th, 2003. NASA's flagship Terra research satellite picks up a frightening image in the South China Sea. It looks like one of the largest tsunamis ever, and it's headed straight for Hong Kong, a city of 7 million people.
To see a wave on a satellite Even with modern technology about satellites, means that wave has to be pretty darn big.
And there isn't one mega wave, there's a whole series of them.
They're gargantuan. They span like an entire ocean. I mean, these things are huge. This is going to cause complete and utter devastation.
Experts measure the wave. This image is taken from over 400 miles above the Earth. Each pixel is 800 feet across. By crunching the numbers, analysts calculate the waves are over 500 feet tall. 10 times the size of the tsunami in the Indian Ocean that in 2004 killed 250,000 people.
We think of a big tsunami as tens of feet. You know, a big one would be 30 or 50 feet or something like that. We have waves in the ocean that are up to 2,000 feet high. That's as big as skyscrapers.
Then something extraordinary happens. It never hits land. The giant tsunami disappears. It vanishes from satellite images. Which leaves a baffling question. What on earth just happened? Was this just a technical error?
Modern weather satellites carry a huge number of very sensitive instruments, so when you go through the process of launching them into space and bringing them online, a lot of things can happen.
When I see these pictures, it looks to me as if they're simply computer glitches.
But systems on the Terra satellite are constantly being checked, and all are working fine. Wild speculation starts to spread. Could the huge waves be man-made? A test, perhaps, of some exotic marine weapon. Some claim that such a weapon has been used before to attack Japan.
There are even those who believe that 2011 tsunami that knocked out the Fukushima nuclear power plants may have been generated. You use it as a weapon.
Weird as it sounds, a devastating tsunami weapon is something military researchers have explored. During the Second World War, scientists from the US and New Zealand conducted a series of tests in which underwater explosions were used to trigger giant tidal waves capable of destroying coastal cities. They called it Project SEAL. Are these mid-ocean tsunamis the terrifying realization of that prototype weapon?
There are certainly a number of secret military facilities in this area.
If these giant waves were the result of a weapons test so close to China, was it meant to be a secret? Or was it meant to be seen?
It's all part of the games that countries play to try to keep other countries guessing at their capabilities.
But these waves tower hundreds of feet and stretch for hundreds of miles. The total mass of water would weigh billions of tons. To generate such a wave would be a huge operation, involving one or more nuclear devices placed in the sea. And even more puzzling, a tsunami tends to increase in velocity until it smashes into land. Why did this one vanish?
So I thought that was very interesting. Obviously, we all know and believe that there are weapons out there that can create tsunamis. We know that Russia, for example, has one, the nuclear drone Poseidon. Multiple uses of drones or systems like that could definitely generate tsunamis coming inland. So we've got this whole storyline of, hurricane, potentially a nuclear plant having some issues to do with water. It may not be a tsunami coming in like that, but most certainly there's the risk of storm surges and flash floods and all those kind of things, which could then affect this power plant that we've been talking about. Another story, the super solar flare to wipe out humanity. Now that's a sensationalist title to get readers' attention, but the information inside of the report is real. This has already been reported by multiple YouTubers. I'm a bit slow on this one, but still worth talking about. The FBI swooped on the National Solar Observatory last Thursday, closing it down to employees and the public without explanation. The official line given was security reasons, but local law enforcement in Sunspot, New Mexico, and workers at the observatory have no idea what is going on. With no authoritative word as to what is happening, the internet is mustering its own theories, such as myself. and some believe it's to do with an impending solar storm. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA or NOAA, issued a storm watch for a G2 level solar storm on September 11th, just days after the National Solar Observatory was closed. So on September 11th, they give us a G2 solar storm warning, which is a moderate solar storm. Generally, solar storms would take 1 to 5 days to reach the Earth. So currently it's the 14th, so that's day 3, 72 hours after the G2 solar storm watch was issued. So I'd probably be looking out for any disruptions with communications, any auroras, which would suggest a solar storm is happening above us. Obviously, some of the particles move faster than others, so we'd have a series of waves, if you want to use that reference. The first wave arriving pretty quickly within 24 to 48 hours, so we should have kind of been feeling some sort of effects around today or already. And then we've got the slower moving particles, which generally take a little bit longer, 72 hours or more. So keep an eye out for that. I'm very curious that the FBI will just swoop in and close it, and then we get this G2 solar storm, but you can't watch it. So why is that? And obviously it's very curious. They may be hiding information from us, and we'll try our best to go around their blocks and get whatever information we can. The US State Department has approved the sale of 6 P-8 Poseidon sub-hunting planes to South Korea. Now that just tells me that they're worried about North Korean submarines. The US State Department today approved the possible sale of these planes to South Korea, total cost of $2.1 billion. Accompanied with the report yesterday of Japan and the US testing missile defenses off the coast of Hawaii, it really is suggesting to me that the war with North Korea is, the peace is just an illusion. It's an illusion to calm people down, because everyone was watching, everyone was on edge in terms of North Korea and the United States. Now there's all this peace talk and everyone's kind of calmed down, but things are still happening. North Korea is still developing ballistic missiles. They're still working on their nuclear program. They're still working on their submarines. You've got the United States doing missile tests and now selling submarine hunting planes to South Korea, all of which, obviously, from North Korea's perspective, they can then come out and say you're ruining the atmosphere of peace, and possibly take steps to withdraw publicly from that, accusing the United States and Japan and South Korea of not living up to the spirit of the deal. Then you've got Typhoon Mangkhut, which we've already talked about. It's apparently the power of 500,000 nukes hitting the Philippines, well, in between the Philippines and Taiwan, which is where we saw in that video that large series of tsunami waves seem to have generated from. Obviously, we know that Taiwan and America have generally close relationship, which angers the Chinese. The same with the Philippines. The same with the Philippines. So looking out, that typhoon is going to be hitting there in, well, it says a matter of hours. The earlier model I had projected the more serious activity taking place on the 15th, but obviously that's going to span over a number of hours as it moves in towards China. And then the last report I've got here is connected with the last video I did, which is looking at any events connected to the Queen on or around the 17th before Hurricane Helen gets here. May involve other members of the royal family. If Prince William or Prince Harry was to take over, for example, then Prince Charles would have to not be in the picture, or he would have to abdicate his power to one of his sons. So we'll see if anything like that happens. But we've got these reports of Iran at the top levels, so all the way up to the Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Khomeini, saying that, well, the British saying that they're involved in terrorist attacks and terror cells throughout Europe, particular of concern for the UK. So it could be that, if something does happen over here associated with the Queen, maybe they say Iran's involved, and that gives them an excuse backed by the British public to then go and launch attacks on Iran, possibly directly in conjunction with America and Israel if other things have happened before that, or even just to go ahead and launch full offensives with America, France, Germany and Israel in Syria's Idlib, where the whole basis or the whole structure of World War III is about to, bloom out with all the conflicts and military building up there. So, all that information, I think we are living in some very perilous times. Always be watchful, always be prayerful, stay close to Jesus. And with all of that said, you guys, have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.